So
here comes some religious person.
Yeah, let's listen to some stupid religious people, because that's the thing we do here. I didn't add it, yeah. Oh, well.
And it was about that time.
I'm going to have to turn this fucker up.
If I was going to evaluate the various arguments that are present in today's popular conversations, and I wanted to tease out the worst ones, I would probably consider some combination of how fallacious it is and how popular it is. If it's really egregious and clearly wrong, and also very popular, then it's probably a contender for one of the worst arguments.
I mean, first off, it's Ginger Jesus. And I don't just mean he looks like Jesus and he's ginger. I mean, he looks like our friend the Ginger and he's Jesus.
Yes. I 100% see it.
We should ask him if he fucked an ostrich.
Allegedly.
And he will tell you.
Allegedly.
So, he wants to talk about fallacious arguments, and the worst argument is the most fallacious and the most popular. Pascal's wager?
Does seem to be one of the more popular ones amongst Christians who are trying to say why you should believe. Yeah.
Well, it's completely fallacious because it's not even an argument. It's just, like, what have you got to lose? Just do it.
Yeah, it's the ultimate, it's not a pyramid scheme, honest. What have you got to lose? You'll get your money back when you get more people on board.
I mean, the ontological argument's pretty stupid.
Yeah, it is. It is.
If God could exist, then he must exist. Well, that's
He's
not...
so powerful that the possibility of him is the inevitability of him.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say that's pretty fallacious and pretty popular.
It did take me a while to dissect it in my head. It's probably because they put everything across in a very convoluted way.
No, but that's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point. It's supposed to be convoluted. So then you go, you don't want to look stupid, do you? So you go, not alone,
I don't know. I'm of the more stubborn variety most of the time, where I'll disagree, but I don't know why I'm disagreeing. I just know that you're wrong. I just can't quite get in my head why you're wrong. It's just, what do they like to say? Intuitive.
I know. Like he's supposed to be talking about atheist arguments, but I just wanted to point out the stupidity of most Christian arguments.
Well, it's in the theme. He's saying, well, if I want to look for, the worst arguments, I'll go for these. Well, they've got the worst arguments, and they use them regularly.
I don't know. I've not watched this. You have, right? Do you remember what he's going to say?
Yeah.
Right. When's he going to say the word? Like, I don't want you to tell me. I'm just going to guess. With the worst atheist argument. Right. All right. I need a clue. Is it actually a bad argument, right? Or is it just one a Christian wouldn't enjoy? Or like a theist wouldn't enjoy?
It's more in the vein of that they don't enjoy it.
Right. Problem of evil.
No.
Oh no, that's pretty stupid anyway.
They don't enjoy it because it reveals something to them that we're not so different, you and I.
Like is it no right? I suppose because like I got it. I don't know. No, I'm just shit at this. But is it like fucking an actual argument? Because it's Christians more that use like arguments more than atheists do.
It could come across as more of an atheist got you to the Christian, but there's more to it than that. People just don't tend to go into depth about what it means. They'll just say it as this offhanded comment.
Like the fucking, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, it's a quick gotcha for laughs, but it actually does have a meaning. People just don't go into it too deep.
Have you got the right God? Because there's billions of gods. And
yeah, it's in that vein, definitely. Definitely in that vein.
I would say that this one ranks up there.
I mean, I do like the fact as well. Sorry, I do like the fact Brian Holdsworth. Brian, I'd like to come in now, Brian. Brian.
Oh, this is too much. This is too much.
I'd like a cabbage. Brian.
Like a cabbage.
I only wanted a cabbage.
What's going on? What's going on, Charles? What are you doing? What are you doing?
I want a cabbage.
What are you doing?
What is the big deal, please?
That's my cabbage. That is my cabbage. What are you doing? That is my cabbage. Get out. Get out of the cottage. Get out of the cottage. Move now. Hoopla. Hoopla. Go. Go. Watch my mother's Turkish salsa.
Baron Charles, great film.
Yes.
Great shot.
Yes.
Anyway, was it fucking... I want to sit in the front. You're a very cheeky boy. front. Anyway, I don't know when he started. I like how when he started, you know, you get the very serious, you know, sit down. You know, he turns on the camera.
Yeah.
And then he's got the mood lighting. You know, he's being very somber and serious because you're supposed to take him very seriously. You know, because he's sat down very solemnly, like it's almost like it's an apology video. You know, they put it on and they go,
Yeah.
never wanted to do this, but afraid I'm gonna have to make an apology video.
I'm sorry about how you perceived the things that happened that you may believe were my doing. I was merely a pawn in the scheme, and hello, Pippin. Oh, she's a delightful little puppers, yes she
He's
is.
a good girl, but you know, it's very somber. He's gonna, you're gonna sit down, and he's very serious for the worst atheist argument, and he means business. He's letting you know he means business. Do you know he means business?
He does.
Have you noticed he means business yet?
Did I hear the sound of choral music?
Business? Yes.
I did hear the sound of choral music.
I don't know. I was just saying yes. We'll see. Yeah. Oh yeah, because he's a god. He's a god botherer, and you know, the only thing you can have as a god botherer is Holy Maria. It's the only Christian music you have. You can't have POD on there, can you?
No, you can't.
Well, you can. They're a Christian rock band, but that's what I mean. You can't have, you know, something different that still spreads the word of God. It's only holy if you think of angels. God damn it!
I see it a lot in the comments on my videos, and there are quite a few popular atheists who like to repeat it. Ricky Gervais famously uses it whenever he gets the chance to exfoliate his atheism in front of an audience. And Richard Dawkins used it in The God Delusion, and this is probably the origin of it. In it,
Yeah, but to them, like, Ricky Gervais saying something in a stand-up, right, is like, you know, atheist gospel to them.
Yeah. They seem to have the same view of us as as they have of themselves, that they're this hierarchy. There's this whole religion that's all organised together with all these same beliefs, and they look at atheists the exact same way. I said, we're not an organisation. There are organisations
Based
around
around atheism.
but we're not one conglomerate.
No, but they don't like that fact. I'm just gonna...
said, we are...
All right. It's just because I didn't want it just to be grey in the background.
Well, there we
all
are.
atheists about most of the gods that humanity has ever believed in. Some of us just go one god further.
It's a flop.
And it's...
Oh, it's so...
That is the worst argument ever.
The worst
possibly.
atheist argument. One, it's not even a gotcha. It's not even a got-ya thing. It's not an argument.
It's a quick offhanded line of, well, I just believe in one less than you.
Yeah, because you don't believe in Zeus, Thor, Athena, like Ares, Mars, Jupiter, fucking, you know, Ra.
Yeah. But he does go into that a little bit. And to me it just seems like you know what? I'm sick of having to argue this. So
yeah, but boo-hoo.
I'm not
it's
going
not
to.
It's not a... It's one. I think it's one of the general problems with general religious discourse. It's a true statement. It just is.
Yeah, it's a true statement.
It's not meant to. It's not a statement that's meant to make you disbelieve in God. It's not. It's not supposed to make you go, "Oh, he's right. Maybe I should just believe in one less." It's just to go, we're basically the same. You believe in one God. We believe in one less than that. That's it.
You can use it as a setup for the next line, which I've just conveniently forgotten. I had it in my head a minute ago. You just set it up. It could be set up for for an actual argument. Because I just believe in one less God than you. So how do you know that you have the right one?
And it's like,
that's it. You know.
I just like the fact that it's in my comment section all the time. So I had to make this super serious video.
I'd like to go to his comment sections actually. I should have done that and looked through. You know, see, does he actually get these comments in there?
I mean, maybe because a lot of these Christian wankers fucking like just turn off the comments anyway because
they do.
You know, They don't want that debate. It's just believe me or burn.
Either you're going to watch the video and believe me, or you're going to watch the video and disagree with me, but I'm not going to give it the option to disagree with me. I just want the people who agree with me to watch.
Yeah, because I don't want people saying bad things in my comments. And it's like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah. You know what? I welcome the insults. Bring on the insults. Bring on the I'll argue that you're wrong because of this. Bring that on.
What is it,
I'm
right?
fine with this.
I don't want to do some ad hominem shit, right? But, like, I'm not going to make fun of his looks to say he's wrong. But why is it that, like, so many Christian dudes, if they look anything like fucking Caesar Borgia, they go, I'm Jesus! And, like, decide they're going to grow the hair like Jesus and the beard like Jesus. Because, is it some extent of, like, fucking hope that actually they are the second coming of Jesus? And nobody knows it yet. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, Jesus doesn't know who he is right now.
Yeah, so like if I look like Jesus, maybe it'll turn out that I was Jesus all along. You know what I mean? Like, no graven images, but hairstyles. It doesn't say anything about hairstyles. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this fucker would like walk around in a fucking white robe and go, oh. Just have someone with a flashlight behind him who's like, I am the second coming. I have come to kill all of you and take some of you above.
You got the serious somber tone, the professional look, you know. You got the choral music. You got the Jesus look going on. Yeah.
It's not like Jesus before it was cool, apparently.
yeah, he did.
I don't think he's brown enough for that.
Depends who you're looking at.
Well, they like... No, I was on about her specifically. They like to pretend that fucking Jesus was white, and it amuses me greatly.
Yeah.
So he was born and raised in Jerusalem. Yes, he was. And Jerusalem's in the Middle East. Yes, it is. And it was ruled over by the Romans. Why, yes, it was. Why the fuck is he white?
Because the Son of God is so pure that he glows. I don't know. Turns out he wasn't white, he just glue.
Yeah. White's the only colour to be. What are you hearing about?
Yeah, you know, is it because it appeals to the majority of Christians in, say, America, Europe, Britain?
I mean,
is that the reason?
I mean, yeah.
Is it more appealing? Do we have some inherent racism in the world?
No. What are you on about?
Fair enough. We did eventually solve that problem.
No, there was never any racism to begin with. What are you on about?
Yeah.
There was just a correct way of things and an incorrect way of things.
To be honest, actually, yes.
Enraged, Lucifer cunningly convinced 1/3 of the spirits destined for Earth to fight with him in revolt. Thus, Lucifer became the devil and his followers the demons. Sent to this world, they would forever be denied bodies of flesh and bone. Those who remained neutral in the battle were cursed to be born with black skin. This is the Mormon explanation for the Negro race. The spirits that fought most valiantly against Lucifer would be born into Mormon families on planet Earth. These would be the lighter-skinned people, or white and delightsome, as the Book of Mormon describes them.
Very effective in something like a late night TV exchange. For one, it's succinct, and for another, it's quite clever. So it brings the appearance of being logical.
So basically, you believe in you deny one less God than I do. You don't believe in 2,999 gods, and I don't believe in just one more.
Right. Do you
As a rhetorical instrument, it hits all the right notes. But rhetoric without sound logic is just sophistry, which is one...
What?
Rhetoric without logic is sophistry.
The ontological argument, thank you.
It's fine when they do it. They've got God on their side and God is right? Yeah. And if you lie or, deceive people for God...
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, but it's always been okay for, Christians to lie and tell half-truths as long as they're getting people to believe in Jeezy Greasy.
You can do what you want. You can justify almost anything with religion.
Yeah.
Like a Holocaust. Anything can be justified. That's what God wants.
I know. It's such a shame that he said true statement and you call it not even piffle. It's just sophistry. I mean, I'd like to see a Christian argument that wasn't sophistry, considering that you say that the God is this infinite, all-powerful God isn't part of this universe, and he's unknowable except for all the things that you know about him. That's not very logical, is it? It's rhetoric without logic. Sophistry.
Yeah, it's unknowable. So what gender is God? Is he male? Some will say yes.
Well, no,
some will go no gender. And it's like,
oh no!
you
You forgot about all the people that say that God's a woman.
Yeah, and it's like, you don't know. That's a simple thing. You don't know.
Yeah.
How could you know what I know?
Like the ginger Jesus says, right? Rhetoric without logic is
sophistry.
Ding ding ding. Let's.
I hope you soph.
Well, let's see how long he takes it before he ruins that.
In a classical liberal arts education, you had to learn logic or dialectic first before rhetoric. You had to have a proper understanding of what sound logic was before you applied persuasive speech to it. Otherwise, you would just become a sophist. But
no.
So you need to have logic before you can have charisma.
No, that's not what he said.
Kind of what I grabbed from it.
He's saying that he went to university, right? And he if you do a fancy dancy course,
yeah,
and fucking
that's liberal arts,
yeah, that you're gonna learn that you need the logic first before you can argue, right?
Yeah.
But that I don't get what that's gonna do with charisma.
Sorry, it was because he was saying persuade rather than argue.
'Cause...
I'm probably basing it off D&D background, but charisma. You use how charismatic you are to persuade people.
I mean, you do, but that's not what he's saying. He's saying, you gotta he's trying to go around the bushes to say, hey, there isn't any, solid founding to this. So if you've gone to a liberal arts college like he has, then you know better, right? And if you know better, then you know why this is so stupid, and I'm sure he's just about to explain why.
Like a lot of good things from our heritage, we decided to discard that educational tradition. So our educational superiors decided we don't need to teach people logic anymore, which is why sophistry has such free reign over the popular conversations that are present in our culture these days, from politics to advertising to books like The God Delusion.
Oh, so the God Delusion sophistry, is it? That biological biological geneticist. I couldn't think of words.
Yeah, I'm zoologist.
Right. He's a sophist because you don't agree with him. That's not what sophistry is.
He doesn't agree or he doesn't understand, and that's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough to be considered.
Yeah. And I like how he's saying this about Dawkins. I hate Dawkins, right? But I wouldn't say he's a sophist. Right?
I mean, if he said something, that was wrong, he'd probably, most likely, if he's doing a debate or something, or he's putting something out for fact in print, he'd probably correct himself if he realised it was wrong.
No, but you're not going to say Hitchens was a sophist, considering that Hitchens has no training in any of the fields that he was talking about. You know what I mean? So,
it was well read.
But it's not logic if you don't come to my understanding. Logic is only people that agree with me. If you've come to some other decision on life and it doesn't agree with the way I've seen it, it's not logic. How could you say you're logical?
You're either a liar or you have been lied to because you don't agree with what I think.
Yeah. Look at him. Look at his serious face and them eyes. He's a serious man right now.
From the perspective of a theist like me, it's quite difficult to respond to because it's so short and witty that people expect an equally short and witty reply.
Do you know what that short and witty reply is? Yeah, but I don't see what that's got to do with anything. That's literally the reply.
Unless you use that statement to set up the next one, which is the argument that you're going to use. If they just leave it at the statement, yeah, you've got nothing else on you, then that's all. Yeah.
No, it's one of the things I always love about watching this shit is Christians are really bad at steelmanning atheist arguments.
They try their best. They have to They have to lie about it. They have to change what was said, just in little ways here and there, so that the whole meaning throughout eventually gets warped and changed completely. Like that Frank Turek when he said, "I debated Christopher Hitchens, and he said the best argument for God is the fine tuning," and he did not say that. You have to lie to prop up your argument. They just have to.
Yeah, but like this guy here, this dick, right? He's just full on saying that this is an argument. It's not an argument.
It's a statement.
It doesn't.
It's a fact.
It doesn't.
Mostly.
It's not said to convince. It's It's like Ricky Gervais, right? Was not trying to convince Colbert though.
No. It's imagine when you look at people.
Fucking alcohol's ate away at this cork.
Pardon me. I don't know how old that is.
Quite substantially.
I used to have a Christmas bottle or a birthday bottle where everyone would just pass it around from person to person until it eventually got drunk. It could be one of those deals. But yeah, what was I just saying? It's people looking at atheists, like Christians looking at atheists as if they're really bad people because they don't have a God, they don't have this higher power. I was like, but I just believe in one less higher power than you.
Yeah.
And that is the statement. You're looking at us badly because we don't have a God, but you don't have all these other gods either. Yeah.
I mean, is he actually going to address the other god stuff?
Yeah, he goes into other gods.
I feel like this is where the real meat is going to be, because I don't really have much more to say about this.
But instead we find ourselves trying to do this whole educational exposition of why it's fallacious. The truth is, it's a non sequitur in the highest degree, and that's being generous. It simply doesn't follow that because you believe in one less God than I do, that I'm practically an atheist too. It also...
No, but he's saying that you are an atheist to other things!
And you know what? The statement that was made by Ricky Gervais in the clip there, I don't know if he said it before the clip started or after, but I don't recall him saying that, you're just as atheist as I am plus one God. I don't recall him saying that. That's yours.
I don't know.
Because it would be a stupid thing to say, because they're not just as atheistic as you. They believe in a God. They're not completely without, belief in a God.
No, yeah. I know, but he just doesn't understand. Like, yes, it is a non sequitur. That's the point. Like, the fact that you felt compelled to make an argument against this is really funny to me.
Yeah, he had to make a whole argument against something that wasn't actually itself an argument.
It really twists your tits, this, doesn't it?
Yeah, because to them it's this quick atheist.
No. We have one less God than you. Oh, I must make a video! How dare he say such things? Completely true things. I am going to derive meaning from this.
I'm going to try and convince masses that this is really bad and really stupid, and people would applaud me and they'll give me money on my Patreon, which is linked below somewhere.
Oh no, it's not even a Patreon. He said enlist, and he's got a website and all sorts.
Oh yeah.
Enlist here, help fight back, and it's like, yeah, whatever.
Fight back.
Yeah, but he's Christian. They always think that they're on the back foot, and that fucking everybody's always against them, because everybody is, but everybody's against everyone. That's welcome to the world.
Yeah, we have our groups.
But
our group is better than yours.
Nero used him as a scapegoat once, and they got persecuted for a little bit. So that persecution goes on forever.
I know.
We Christians are so persecuted. You run half the world. We're so fucking persecuted, okay? Didn't we tell you we were persecuted? We're fucking persecuted. Okay, I guess we're persecuted. That's right. Oh, I'm so persecuted. Oh.
They're going to ban the cross in public again. That they've never done here at all. Ever. Successfully.
Yeah, but that's because the only thing they've got now is to scare people and keep them in some, constant, They're going to take it over from you. It's all going to be gone. It's like, yeah, but so does a lot of things.
Yeah, the things that you like and you want are going to eventually be gone after you're dead.
Yeah,
well, I don't want that.
Like the Roman gods that you guys destroyed.
Yeah.
Or the Norse gods that you guys destroyed. Or the Celtic gods that you guys destroyed. Or the Middle Eastern gods that you guys destroyed. Or the African gods. And I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah. It does.
South American, Central America, everywhere, right? Whatever.
The persecuted are coming for us. What do? We can't fight back. The persecuted.
We're so attacked. He said that he believes in one less God than us. We're so attacked.
Oh.
Help me. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. He said he believes in one less God than me. Oh no. I'll have to make a video.
It doesn't follow that God doesn't exist, or that atheism is true, or that theism is false. There's nothing valid in its content, and it doesn't even seem to assert a conclusion, so we're just left trying to grasp at what the conclusion might be. But
maybe it doesn't have to have a conclusion.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an open statement that can lead to many things, like
Yeah.
other arguments.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to approach any of the actual arguments.
It's not valid, but I'm going to give it the time I would give something valid.
Yeah, but he said there was nothing valid about it, but we do believe in one less God than you. That is literally the truth. Well, no, it's not. I suppose it's 3 less gods, but you know.
Yeah, depending on the religion with Christians, yeah. But, you know, it's said in general, I just believe in one less God than you, but it might be 3 or 4, 5, 6, depending on the religion.
Yeah.
But, you know.
There's nothing valid except for the premise of the statement.
It's a statement of fact.
Yeah.
So
what are we supposed to do with this statement of fact? I don't know. Accept it because it's a statement of fact.
because it's so common and so popular and often repeated, it does require a reply. So if we as theists need to reply to it in a succinct way, I think the best way would be to come at it by way of an analogy. If it's valid to claim that since a person like myself rejects the majority of claims about God or divinity, then I might as well reject all claims about God or divinity, then the following analogy would also be true. Let's say I'm a math denier. I deny all math as invalid from the beginning. And to try to persuade you in that, I ask you, 1 + 1 is 2, right? Which of course you would say, yeah, of course. And I would say, 1 + 1 isn't 3, it's not 4, it's not 5, or any of the other seemingly unlimited replies you could give as a solution to that problem. So when you say that 1 + 1 = 2 and not any of the other possible answers, you're saying that you reject the innumerable alternative options.
There isn't an innumerable alternative options. There is one correct answer. And it is a tangible answer because it's math. It's a man-made thing, and we know how they work.
You have to really stretch to get a different answer. Like you have to look at something like JavaScript where it won't equals that because it equals a letter or something.
Yeah.
That you have to stretch to not have the correct answer at the end of that.
A more apt one would be, well, you believe in Santa. Well, I don't believe in Santa, so I believe in one less Santa than you do.
Yeah, one less holiday creature.
Yeah, like, God isn't tangible in the universe. There isn't any proof to God, so you can't use a tangible thing as a direct analogy because it just it doesn't comport, because it's not the same fucking thing in the slightest, even as an analogy.
Yeah.
Because it's not saying, hey, right, let's fucking think of God and its constituent parts or anything like that. It's just, hey, a bunch of people at different points have made various gods, right, with various beliefs and various belief structures and rules that are underneath them and various bits of law that come with them. Mm-hmm. And we know that there is literally thousands of them, right? And because we know that there's thousands of them, to say that you have found the correct God is laughable just because you exist now in a time and a place where that is the predominant faith, and 9 times out of 10, or 8 times out of 10 or whatever, you are, like, I don't know, coerced from a very young age by your family, friends around you, people in church and stuff like that, to believe the same things they do, and it makes you so obstinately sure that you're correct, right, that a thing as simple as saying, we believe in one less God than you do, but fills you with such invective that you've got to sit down and make a really serious video.
It fills him with dread, that's what it is, because he doesn't really have an argument against it. He's had to really think about it.
Use general for a binary and still representation of the physical number itself and just in a physical...
In a different form.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like he doesn't understand analogies. He doesn't understand arguments.
Yeah.
He's trying to steel man an argument that he doesn't understand because it's not an argument. Even though he himself said it's not an argument, it's a non sequitur. But I'm calling it the worst atheist argument because I don't want to approach any actual arguments because of a bunch of our arguments, I don't know, have facts to back them up from scientific studies and the like. And
you got to think, like, the first thing he dove to was an analogy because he has nothing else.
Yeah.
All he's got is an analogy. There's no other argument against the thing that isn't even an argument.
Yeah. So, right, actually, here's the perfect point, right? So let's continue with his shit math analogy.
Yeah.
So, 1 plus 1 could equal 3 or 4 or 5, right? But, so, the easy way to show how stupid that is, right, is you take a 1, right? You take one item, and then you take another item, and you go, this is one item plus one item. You have 2 items, right? So that's how you easily do away with that. Show us God.
I would like to pick his argument apart in a really simple way. He said he was supposed to be a math denier. So 1 plus 1 doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
Your analogy shit on so many levels. If you overlook the first level, it just falls apart at the next. It's just... Oh. If I was going to be a math... I would come up with a better analogy if I were you. Just something, anything.
I mean, he took time to make this, so...
He did. He did. We did
this was the
live.
best example he came up with. I've not even watched this video and I came up with that. Like, it's not hard.
Well, I just go one step further and deny 1 plus 1 equals 2. And since it's just one more step of denial, you might as well deny that too, and thereby deny all of math.
But that's not... So, but that's just not one thing, is it? Because to deny all of math, it's not just one thing, is it? You don't deny 1 plus 1 equals 2, and therefore I deny all math. Because then I could go, well, does 2 plus 2 equals 4? And you'd have to say no. And I go, well, it's 3 plus 3 equals 6. And you say no. See, already that's 2 things that you have to deny. That's 3 things,
yeah.
like 2 things more than, like, it's not like, I believe in one God less than you. Well, all right then. Well, I also believe in Thor.
Oh, yeah. I only believe in multiplication, so I don't believe in dividing.
Yeah, decimals.
Minusing.
Yeah, decimals, fractions.
Yeah,
algebra,
I don't believe in any of
like
that. I just believe in multiplication.
Geometry.
You just believe in one less
Yeah.
sum than me.
All of truth works this way. To accept anything as definitively true is to reject all of the incompatible alternative options. Truth is exclusive. To say yes to anything is to say no to everything else. So that original argument is like telling a married man that he's practically a bachelor because he rejected every other woman except for one. The only
Yeah. Like, it doesn't...
Only one
The thing
can
about
be true.
facts, right, is they just are what they are. I was going to repeat what he said, but I immediately forgot the thing he just said.
Yeah. Do you want to rewind it back? Because it was the facts. There's just only one of them can be true.
Yeah, and it's
It's
like...
either yes or no. You can't have both. Cognitive dissonance.
anything is to say no to everything else. So that original argument is like telling a married man that he's practically a bachelor because he rejected all of math. All of truth works this way. To accept anything as definitively true is to reject all of the incompatible alternative options. Truth is exclusive.
So truth is exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So, the truth is, a married man is not necessarily a bachelor, because he could have a bachelor in something. There's all different meanings of bachelor. But anyway, we'll take this version of bachelor, right? So, that married man can't be a bachelor because he didn't say no to that woman, right? That is a statement of fact, and it is true. Because the other possibilities are things that are not so true. Like, he is a bachelor and married at the same time. So, yes, you exclude the alternate ones for the one that it is, because facts are removable in just the way they are, because they are facts. You can distort facts, and you can stretch them, you can omit them, to make it seem like whatever you want. But the simple fact is we do believe in one God less than you, and a married man is one step away from being a bachelor. Like, it's just a statement of fact. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And, like, the fact that it drives you this mad and it gets your panties in such a tight twist. I'm going to say this more to like every fucking Christian possible.
You know what I find really funny as well is saying to say yes to this one thing is to say no to everything else. Well, that bachelor said yes to a woman, not a bachelor anymore.
Yeah.
And then goes round saying yes to all the other women behind his wife's back. You can say yes to more than one thing. It doesn't have to be yes or no.
No, I know, but I was trying to be more direct and not go into it all the obvious things of, oh, look, he's a cheater and he's pretending to be a bachelor behind his back. Still, technically, by definition, he's still not a bachelor.
No.
That's only definition.
To say yes to anything is to say no to everything else. So that original argument is like telling a married man that he's practically a bachelor because he rejected every other woman except for one. The only difference between him and a real bachelor is that a real bachelor just goes one step further. So I hope you can see how embarrassingly absurd that logic is when applied to anything other than God.
And I hope you can see how absurd that logic is. I was ready to say something else, that last bit. How absurd that argument is compared to anything other than God. But if it's if that argument then is absurd compared to everything other than God, then that actually means that the argument you're saying is absurd and fallacious. And what was the other word used? Not piffle, fucking sophistry.
Sophistry. That. Yeah.
And you're saying that, well, this isn't like that other one. So then it means that the one you're complaining about is fact. I don't even think he knows what he's saying.
It applies to everything I want it to.
Yeah.
And it doesn't apply to the things I don't want it to.
I always forget that's an answer with these folks.
Yeah. Because when it comes to God, beyond time, space, and meaning, blah, blah, blah. Can't touch it, can't see it. Good evening. Oh.
The other
he's an asshole.
problem with this argument is that it seems to suffer from a false equivalency, which is common in a world that likes to compare all religions as if they're making claims about the same fundamental parameters. So as many
false equivalency.
Right, I'm going to start.
I'm gonna make it sick.
Yeah, please. I'm going to start that whole little bit again. I just want to approach each bit by bit, because
yes, there's a lot.
That was special.
One step further. So I hope you can see how embarrassingly absurd that logic is when applied to anything other than God. The other problem with this argument is that it seems to suffer from a false equivalency, which is common in a world that like
suffers from false equivalency. It's not equivalency.
It's not false either.
We're not saying we're equal. So it's not an equivalency. I don't get how it's an equivalency. How's it a false equivalency? Am I being stupid here?
No. You are not. It's a lot to unpack.
It's not even about it's not unpacking. It's how fucking stupid that statement is. It's not false. We're not saying we're equal. The whole point is that we believe in one less thing than you. That inherently isn't equal. We're not
comparing the two.
It's not a parallel. Right.
I'm trying to think of a false equivalency offhand just to compare what he's trying to compare it to, but nothing's coming to mind right now.
A false equivalency, right, would be saying, right, that Jesus is like Muhammad.
Yeah.
Because they're not. They're not the same. Muhammad is just a messenger. Jesus is God. That's they both created a religion. No, they didn't. Muhammad created a religion. Paul created a religion.
Yeah.
The false equivalency would be saying Muhammad and Jesus would be similar, when really it's Muhammad and Paul. Mortal men created the religion, went against the religious norms of the time. That's the analogous thing.
to compare all religions as if they're making claims about the same fundamental parameters.
Why are we here? Why are things? Those seem like the same parameters to me. They tell you how to live. They tell you how to speak. They tell you how to act. They tell you which days to worship. They tell you which idols which idols you're supposed to worship. They tell you which way you're supposed to pray, how you're supposed to pray, how you're supposed to teach, what you're supposed to eat, what you're supposed to wear, how you're supposed to fuck. They all have the same parameters. They have different fucking answers to all of the questions. But the parameters for every religion, except monotheisms and polytheisms, right? But that isn't the equivalency that he is drawing.
Oh.
Right? And like, even if you want to say that, like, oh, like polytheistic religions are still trying to tell you the fundamental, like, nature of reality. That's the point.
Yeah. It's basically us trying to figure out how we got here, where we came from, why is everything, and, you know, who's in charge of all this.
This man's a retard.
So as many atheists insist, rejecting the existence of Thor or Odin or Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy is no different from rejecting the existence of the God of the Bible. But this betrays a fundamental misunderstanding of what it is that Christians and Jews claim about God, which is that God...
Why just Jews? What about Muslims? They're the same God.
No, they don't like that. They don't like thinking that Muslims have the same God.
God, Abraham is the man of God. Abraham had a child, Ishmael. He was a child of God, who God actually specifically saved. Specifically, like sent angels to stop his mother running away into the desert because, was it Rachel that's Abraham's wife? Like shunned him away, shunned her away because she could have kids now. So now the one that she made to have kids because she was barren, now she can do it. So you can fuck off now and you can take your your fucking illegitimate kid and fuck off, right? And God directly intervened to save Ishmael, who the Muslims say is the direct descendant. So, and they say quite directly they worship the same God as you. Jesus is in the Quran as a prophet. So fuck off.
I don't like that though. It makes them sore inside.
I know.
God isn't some higher being within the universe. As Bishop Barron often says, God isn't one being among many within the universe. He is being itself.
Oh, right. So because you say that God is everywhere and everything, even though he's not everywhere and everything, because he's outside the universe and doesn't interact directly with this universe, except for the times that he does, because God works in mysterious ways. So that means that it's different than the other overarching deities of different religions, like Zeus and fucking, Ra and fucking all this different shit, because they were on Earth and God isn't? Really? Is that the distinction you're going to make here? Well... Can you go to Mount Olympus? Come on, really?
It's not my inability to explain. It's your inability to understand. It's it's just part of human. God is just too much for us.
What a strange line to draw.
Yeah.
Because the thing about Zeus or Santa Claus is that you can provide contrary evidence to their existence.
Yes,
I can provide contrary evidence to the existence of your God. Like... Whatever.
Water off a duck's back, I'm afraid. It's evidence flows off a Christian like
there's
water
literally
off
no archaeological evidence for any of the miracles in the Bible. Not one. Not a one. Like, there's no Garden of Eden.
God, mysterious ways.
There's
Jericho.
There's no proof of a worldwide flood anywhere.
Mysterious ways. We're a bit thin, but mysterious ways. God did the devil took away all of the evidence and left dinosaur bones.
In fact, if we look at many of the sites of Joshua's conquest, we can find in the time period that Joshua is supposed to live, no signs of fucking conquest at any of the sites. Even in the late, we can look at some of these places and go, well, it says that he attacked here, and it's like, there's no even signs of destruction in that part of the Bronze Age. In this place. It's so many of them. Like, all of them.
They were wiped out by disease or famine, the ones that fell. And it took over 100 years. Like, when that city had a conquest, it was over 100 years span. There's a load of different cities falling to different reasons. Like,
and there's not one shred of proof that, Moses took 1 million people. A couple million. Away from Egypt. There's no proof of that whatsoever. Oh, the Egyptians wouldn't write about their losses. No, but the fucking Assyrians would. The Babylonians fucking would. The Moabites fucking would. The Amorites would. The fucking Canaanites would. You know, like all these other people that existed at the same time, like the Nubians, maybe. I don't know. The people that really fucking hated Egypt, they would write the fuck about Egypt's losses.
Do you remember in Lord of the Rings 2000 when the orcs are marching to Isengard? The amount of people that left Egypt would dwarf that column. It'd be written about by someone. It would.
Yeah,
it just would.
It's like we've scoured the place. We know some of the individual sites based on the geography that's described in the Bible to be some places that actually existed, and there are various settlements on the places that were there. No one inhabited them during the times that they supposedly happened. So if we can fundamentally disprove the claims of your God and the miraculous things he's done, then we can say that we can disprove your God. Because, well, your God said he did things, he didn't, so fuck off.
Yeah, you literally turned down an ever-increasing amount thanks to archaeology discovering things.
Yeah.
It's you're getting very little left behind.
It's weird. It's almost like biblical archaeology and stuff like that started to like allow non-theists in the field and started to take what they say more seriously instead of going bloody fucking heathens saying that these things. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, they can't be finding facts. That's bad for us.
It's weird how many things we haven't found. And do you know how we know we haven't found them? Because dickheads like you would be shouting from the fucking rooftops if we found Noah's Ark, if we had found evidence, if we'd gone down, in submarines to the bottom of the fucking Red Sea, and they found loads of chariots in Scotland. The only evidence we have of Levantine people in Egypt, even around then, were people that came in when there was droughts, and the Hyksos that ruled Egypt for over 100 years, and the Bible doesn't say either of them. Fucking if we had discovered anything, any shred of proof, like, you know, oh, this is David's tomb. We found the laying place of Moses, right? Mm-hmm. We found this lost Egyptian thing that goes, oh my God, all the fucking slaves left. Poof, mind blown. Mm-hmm. These fucks would be shouting from the fucking rooftops instead of trying to come up with convoluted bullshit arguments. Right?
We found
they gotta sit down and they gotta sit with the like-minded people and think real hard of convoluted things they can say to try and put people in fucking in mind fucking twister things. To try and fucking bend your mind in enough ways you go, well, I guess it makes sense.
If we can put you on the
it's
back
an easy,
foot, you
intuitive
might
answer to a
over.
really hard fucking question.
Yeah.
And like when you talk to people who are atheists who know what the fuck they're talking about and they're not just belligerent going, oh, God's bad, man. It's weird that we have like all these facts, these immovable facts that we've discovered that not just like discoveries about how the things that didn't happen in the Bible, like the fact that we have found nature forces that do things that the Bible says that God does and God doesn't do them, and we've harnessed them to such a degree that we have everything we have now. But no, God.
If it's claimed that there's a jolly fat man that lives at the North Pole who travels around the world and drops presents under trees every Christmas, well, you could set up a video camera to see who it is that actually drops those presents under the Christmas tree.
Or you could just like look up the evolution of Saint Nicholas, the saint of prostitutes, a Turkish saint that got elevated to Santa Claus through years of changing law and fucking lying to children. Like,
yeah. Yeah, we can follow this story back. It's almost like we have a trail of evidence.
That's why I love the Hogfather so much.
Yeah.
The end of the Hogfather when they're talking to the people, and Hogfather goes fucking, you know, and like the whole premise of the story is there's a thing called the Hogfather. It's basically Santa Claus, and he was an old fucking god that he had to sacrifice things to make the sun come up. And then the whole thing comes down to the end. You know, they're trying to kill him to make the sun not come up. But then, like, well, the sun would have come up. Well, the sun wouldn't have. She goes, and then Death's granddaughter goes, hey, well, what would have happened? And he goes, well, you know, the sun wouldn't have. Would the sun still have risen? And he goes, and Death goes, no, the sun wouldn't have risen. A giant ball of gas would have floated through the sky. So that's the same thing. Yes. But you have to believe the small lies when you're young, to believe the big lies when you're older. And that's all this shit is. That's one of the reasons that Santa Claus became such a pivotal thing for children, was to make them believe in bullshit so they could spread further lies about other stuff later down the line. Because you have to find out how to lie to things to make them believe the shit that you want to believe. So, what, you're going to tell me that everyone who believes in fucking Christianity that was converted by their parents at a young age, what, they were all biblical scholars, were they?
Yeah,
They've all spoken to God personally, and not just in their heads, like a face-to-face thing, and they all just fucking get around and they decide how they're going to bring it. No! There are a bunch of people that know just as little as everyone else, raising things they don't understand, right, and not understanding how to do it because I have to fucking, if I have to, I'll beat it into them.
Yeah. It has to be pushed into them. Pretty hard.
You know, you could, like, just go to the North Pole. Yeah, go. You could just, like, go to the North Pole, you know? You could just go to the North Pole and set up a camera. I was like, can you? Do you know where he lives in the North Pole? Is it directly on the North Pole? Of course not. Like, oh God. But you know, God's outside the universe and you can't set up a camera outside the universe.
But then you get the level of stupid of, well, you know, when it comes to video cameras and capturing evidence, sending ships up into the stratosphere that can show you the Earth is, you know,
I love how
round.
Yeah.
And people still go, no, it's fake. Well, that's what you'd get. It's fake.
I love the fact that this is a video about this Jesus-looking motherfucker, right, being angry that, like, Ricky Gervais and fucking Dawkins say, hey, we believe in one less God than you. And that's turned into, yeah, but, like, you know, you can't test God, so how do you know? It's like, it doesn't even affect the argument. It doesn't matter whether Yahweh, right, is in the holiest of holies in the temple in Jerusalem, right, or if he's in the metaness of the non-universe that he exists in where heaven is, right? We still believe in one God less than you do.
The fact remains, no matter what he's said so far.
So it's the thing about the word belief. Belief means, with, you know, like, that you trust in something without evidence.
Yeah.
I don't understand how language works. So I'm going to get my panties in a twist about a non sequitur.
I just love how he had to set himself up to fail on so many levels just to get around this one thing that wasn't even an argument. It was just a statement of fact.
We could fly over the North Pole and look at satellite imagery, and if there's nothing there, then somebody has some explaining to do. And too many people think that this is the...
But like, Santa Claus did exist. Saint Nicholas. He existed in the past. Mm-hmm. He was a real person. So, just flying over the North Pole, like, you do realise you can go visit the tomb of Saint Nicholas.
Was Saint Nicholas a Christian man?
Like, he's a real tangible person on the earth.
Kind of thing that's being claimed about God in Christianity or Judaism or even Islam for that matter. They think that we're talking about a bearded man who lives in the clouds, and as soon as we have the technology to fly up into the clouds, we notice he's not there. So if he's not in the clouds, maybe he's just remote in the cosmos somewhere. Instead, what is actually being claimed about God is that he transcends the universe, the natural universe. He is the ground of all being. He isn't some being within a reality. He is the source of all reality.
We still believe in one God less than you.
So when you put rejection of God, who is the creator of everything, in the same category as rejection of gods who exist within that creation, you're betraying a fundamental lack of appreciation for what it is that's being claimed.
My God is bigger than your God.
My God's got a bigger dick than your God.
Yeah. So what he's getting at is basically that Christian God created everything, including the other gods that now exist within this world.
It's not a fundamental misunderstanding of what God is to you. It's a rejection. That's all it is. Like, we don't go, God made everything, so I don't believe in him. No, we go, no, you're a fucking misled, lying asshole, right? Who thinks there's an invisible man who talks to you, and just you, and like maybe some select others, and only really you has the real meaning of what the Bible means and what God meant and what Jesus wanted. And only really you get it. And the people that are like-minded like you, those other people like you, you know, they believe in a different version. That's not quite right, is it? But, you know, I know you reject it, but that's just a fundamental, like, I understand 100 billion% what you think God is. I just think you're a lying piece of shit because we can prove many things that he apparently did. He didn't fucking do.
It's a category mistake. It would be like saying, I reject the findings of the Warren Commission, therefore I can also reject the claims of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It's like, there's no correlation between those things.
Yes, there is. It's a rejecting of laws and findings made by governmental bodies. Like, oh, it's a category error. It's not. We just don't believe in him because we think you're full of shit. It's just as simple as that. It's not a misunderstanding of what God is. It's not.
The category is statements, the subject is fact.
Do you know what this reminds me of? That fucking knobhead that, like, we did some weeks ago that was saying, like, hey, You know, when you say God doesn't exist, then that means you're saying that math doesn't exist because, you know, Pythagoras believed that math was God.
Yeah. Yeah, if you reject all gods,
Yeah.
well, this one was this one. It's like, no. Math existed.
Well, no, he
and
had
it formed the
in fact,
religion.
in fact, he used the same specific argument. So you're saying, like, God doesn't exist. Well, that means that you don't, like, believe in existence because, you know, Buddhists or, like, Hindus or whatever say that God is everything. So, it's like saying reality doesn't exist. Yes, just because people name a thing, that means that it exists because they put a classification and a name on it and they believe real hard. So it must be true.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, these people will laugh at, like, the flying spaghetti monster, which is exactly the fucking same.
No reason to be comparing them at all, which is why I think atheists should be attentive to the fact that when you debunk the claims of one religion, that doesn't mean you've debunked them all. They aren't the same thing. Any more than 1 + 1 = 2 is the same as 1 + 1 = 3. Debunking the latter doesn't prove that the former is wrong.
The statement doesn't debunk you. It doesn't debunk anything. And also, we're not stupid enough to think, oh, I've debunked Christianity, therefore I have debunked them all. Really, if you debunk Judaism, we've debunked you. Because you're the second domino in that line, you see. So if we can disprove Judaism, we can disprove you, and we can disprove the Islam. So that is what so we can disprove you. It doesn't disprove Judaism because you are based on Judaism plus Jesus, right? And if we can debunk Jesus, we can debunk you. So then and that has that knock-on effect. It doesn't stop Allah, though, does it? It doesn't stop Muhammad, right? But if we can prove fundamentally that the God of the Old Testament doesn't exist, it debunks all three of you because all three of you are so fucking lazy you couldn't make up your own religion and decide to leech off someone else. And then persecuted him for a couple thousand years for it. You know, because, oh, you didn't accept our version of God. Dirty Jews. How dare you? Whatever.
All this over one offhanded comment.
So fucking stupid.